let's move into some segments. You know, it's been a hot minute since we talked about Ozempic, only because we haven't had an episode.
I'm like, is it? Has it been?
But no, there's actually some new data out this month, actually, brand new data. And, you know, because these medications are just so popular these days, if any new information comes out, then we talk about it. So this is a segment about Ozempic or GLP-1 agonists, new benefits and risks for 2025. And this comes from a study that was released in the Journal of Nature Medicine just last week. And I want to throw that up there in case somebody wants to go and look at that. I'm going to talk about pretty much everything that it went over. But this is a brand new study, 2025. It's pretty massive in size. You know, we talk about studies sometimes they'll have, 1,000, 10,000. This one had 2.5 million people in it.
Dang.
They actually pulled all the data from the VA system, which, does mean that this population is, have certain demographics that may not be completely characteristic of the entire population. But that all being said, the data.
Yeah. Most people that use VA benefits are not very economically high up there.
Yeah, sometimes that it's just they're going to be
like people that have health insurance, like private health insurance, prefer not to use VA.
I found that a lot of times the VA patients are a little bit sicker too, because they tend to be like an older population, men who tend not to go to the doctor all the time. But all that being said, I think that the data in here is good data. It's just kind of like a footnote. It's like, okay, maybe this isn't. There might be things that were overlooked or missed because there's not as many females, right? So. But there was 2.5 million patients in this, so it's a good number. Last time I checked, we had over 40 million Americans taking GLP-1s, so that's why I think that these updated research about them are important. Mm-hmm. So some of the information in there was just reinforcing some of the known benefits, and we've talked about this before, and this is some of the main reasons I really like the GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic. It showed that there was the big increase in cardiovascular benefits, which you guys over at American Heart are probably
number
into
one.
that. Yeah. So decreased risk of heart attacks, decreased risk of stroke, lowering of high blood pressure, hypertension, decrease in inflammation in blood vessels. All those things are very, very good for your health. Another thing, it reinforced that there is a slowing of kidney disease if people are taking these drugs.
Okay.
In fact, the article was talking about how that it may become a new indication for taking the medication. We just talked about, was it tirzepatide got approved for sleep apnea? They're starting to branch out the reasons for prescribing these drugs as they find out.
Whenever I'm taking my graduate level classes, I was reading something in my book about end stage renal failure, doing dialysis that. Sometimes that gets covered by government funds.
What's that, like dialysis or?
Yeah, it's Part D. So it's that'll help government spending.
Slow things down, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Anything that slows down kidney disease is good both for patients and the healthcare system in general because dialysis is insanely expensive.
Yeah.
So that was good. So reinforce the improvement in kidney disease. Improvement in cholesterol and triglycerides, that kind of goes back to the heart. If your cholesterol and triglycerides are better, then overall you're going to be healthier. And so, because of all those great cardiovascular and renal or kidney benefits, it once again showed that there's an overall significant decrease in mortality for patients who are taking these medications. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of things that were known for the most part, but there were some kind of emerging benefits, things that are kind of newer. Some of these I'm not sure we've talked about any of these. I've seen whispers of these, but this just kind of reinforced it. So this one is just totally crazy. So it's been shown to aid in the treatment and prevention of Alzheimer's disease.
Well, people have been saying that Alzheimer's is just like diabetes. It's like another type of diabetes. Yeah. So they're it's like diabetes. It's like type 3 diabetes, but it's in your brain.
They were thinking that the decrease in inflammation in blood vessels in the brain is what was helping helping improve Alzheimer's and also prevent it, which is interesting because they talk about how it decreases inflammation, in your blood vessels, and that's some of the benefit for your heart, but also it's good for your brain. Another one that's kind of wild is reducing substance abuse. The GLP-1s have been shown to alter dopamine levels, which is the chemicals in the brain that are associated with addiction.
Well, dopamine, doesn't that make you happy?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, dopamine's a good one.
Yeah.
So I guess it's altering dopamine in a positive way.
Well, I think people when they look at themselves in the mirror and they like what they see.
I absolutely agree with you, Sarah, that probably a lot of this is
self-esteem.
Just the benefits of people losing weight are going to just be cascading throughout all things.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. Another one is improvement in mental health with decrease in suicidal ideation. Now, they saw this in the VA study. There was actually another study that just came out at the end of last year that was focused on teenagers that were overweight taking GLP-1s, and they saw a big drop in the percentage of people that had suicidal ideation. And I think that along the same lines as what you just talked about, if people feel better about themselves, that's obviously going to improve their mental health.
Positivity goes a long way, and I think a lot of the times people think that because they are because they can't see those results as fast as they want, they give up quickly and they're negative about it and they're negative to themselves and they have a lot of negative self-talk. And so I think whenever they start taking like Ozempic, they get those results faster. And so they're able to be like, I can do this.
Oh yeah.
So there's like that boost of positivity, and I think it probably just sticks with them with every other aspect of their life. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Anything.
I've seen that in my practice because we do offer semaglutide injections, and I mean, the drugs just work. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. They work and they work well. And seeing people's reactions after taking them for a few months, it's like it's been cool. Like they're just like, wow, I just feel so great. I feel so much better just about myself, and I feel healthier.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I've been such a big fan of these. So, of course, those are all the benefits, the ones we knew about, some of the ones that are newer. It did talk about potential risks, and we've been looking for the chink in the armor in these for years now, and really nothing crazy has popped up, even with this study. But there are a couple things, and some of these you guys may have heard about. I've seen a couple of these being talked about. One, have you guys heard about the muscle loss issue with semaglutide? Something you heard about?
Not really.
Dre?
Yes, I think I just actually saw a video about that the other day. I think I just saw a video about that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that people have been talking about. Because we talked about this I think a month or two ago. There's still people out there that just really hate these drugs. And so they're looking for things. And so I've seen, these groups who are just, for whatever reason, they're anti-Ozempic, talk about the muscle loss. Well, a couple things about it. So this study did show that there can be some muscle loss. And, that's going to happen anytime people lose significant amounts of weight, whether it's Ozempic, weight loss surgery, diet and exercise. Like if you start going caloric deficient, and high energy expenditure, or just caloric deficient in the case of these drugs, like you're going to lose muscle.
I think it has to
It's going to happen.
I would say, just in terms of like diet, people's diet, that when they take it, some of them may not change their what they eat. They might change the amount, but they're probably not eating the same amount. They're not eating enough protein, and they're not getting this.
I agree with you.
And they're just not eating correctly.
I think that's important. I think that's one of the important reasons that's good to consult with a physician on these. Like these drugs are becoming readily available now. You can get them almost anywhere.
Like if you want like some real results, take Ozempic, get a nutritionist, and get a personal trainer.
Yeah.
That's going to get you like full encompass.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, because the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2024 released an article discussing the muscle loss associated with GLP-1 agonists, and basically the synopsis was, don't worry about it. The amount of muscle loss that you're going to have, is not going to be a negative to you that's anywhere close to the amount of positives that you get from the weight loss. And they said that you can also counter it very easily with like resistance training.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the weight loss, the muscle loss is not like some crazy amount.
Yeah.
So like resistance training can definitely improve that. But as the American Medical Association said, the benefits of the drugs just so dramatically outweigh the muscle loss that it's almost a non-factor. The other one going along with bone loss is muscle loss, or sorry, the other one going along with muscle loss is bone loss. There was somebody, I can't remember, it was some not famous person, but maybe social media notable person was complaining about Ozempic and how, I guess they lost a bunch of weight and then they went to the doctor and the doctor said, oh, you look like you have early onset osteoporosis. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. If you lose a ton of weight, like it's going to affect your bones. And so you just need to counter that with, making sure you're taking the right nutrients, some good gentle exercise.
Yeah, the weight training is
weight
great
training.
for your bones.
So muscle loss and bone loss are being talked about a lot right now. Neither one of those are critical problems at all, but they're just noteworthy. It's like, okay, if you really want to be as healthy as you possibly can, like it benefits you to do a little bit of like exercise or resistance training to counterbalance that. One of the ones that I hadn't seen before was pancreatitis. So pancreatitis is a condition where your pancreas gets inflamed and actually can be very, very dangerous if it gets severe. And I hadn't noticed or seen that one being talked about. It apparently is very rare.
Yeah, Trey, you got the buy.
I've personally heard of a patient getting pancreatitis from pancreatitis or but apparently it is a possible risk. So if you get pancreatitis, it's not a secret. Like it's pretty severe abdominal pain. Like you would know it.
Yeah,
And it doesn't sound like this is a huge deal, but it's just one of those things to keep in the back of your mind if you're taking these drugs. Like if you have abdominal pain, don't sit on it, go and get it checked out. Gallbladder issues, which totally makes sense. Anything that alters the way your gastrointestinal tract works could affect your gallbladder.
Is the gallbladder, is the gallbladder attached or something to the?
Yeah, it's attached to the bottom of the liver, yeah. So basically it releases bile, which helps break down your food.
Okay.
And so, it's stimulated by gastric emptying and whatnot. And so if your stomach's not emptying, then potentially what could happen is your gallbladder could get sludged up, where if it's not emptying the bile, and you could get some gallstones. These are things that people can have anyway. And gallbladder issues, if you have them, I hate to say it's simple to fix with surgery, but it is simple to fix with surgery.
Yeah.
And I don't think
pancreatitis is more serious.
Huh?
So pancreatitis is more serious.
Yeah, pancreatitis
right?
is legit. You don't want
Like
pancreatitis.
it's very serious.
Yeah, it can be. Like you can get mild pancreatitis and it sucks, or you can get severe pancreatitis and it can be critically ill. Yeah, you can die from it. And then the other is just the normal GI issues that people get, like nausea, vomiting. Most of the time that stuff passes. So, there were some interesting things in this new study. Mostly for me, like the emerging benefits, things that I hadn't heard about as potential benefits. A couple of the risk things I'd heard about. Pancreatitis was the only new one to me, really. And it seems to be very, very rare. So, all in all, I think that this study doesn't really change, at least my opinion on these medications, that overall they're enormously beneficial for people.
Yeah.
I'm still, a pretty big fan. Nothing I found in here was, going to make me think, oh, well, these are not great medications.
Yeah.
The benefits just so outweigh the negatives.
Yeah, it seems like the negatives could be combated with just proper nutrition and working out.
Yeah, totally. Especially, the bone and the muscle loss one. So yeah, obviously we're going to keep an eye on these. I feel like we're going to be talking about these a lot because it's just, especially with my industry, because it affects our industry so much with people losing weight and then they want other stuff done. In your industry, American Heart, this is something that we're going to be talking about a lot. These medications really have, I think these are, going to go down as some of the bigger medications ever released, kind of along the lines of, Lipitor and Viagra and, all these medications are just kind of groundbreaking that people talked about for years. I think it'll be one of those. So.